They are the levers of stinking thinking. I've used the term oftentimes, force them to play left-handed. Gator is the starting quarterback and will be. Joey Elliott may or may not play. The kickers continue to compete during the course of the week. And knowing from Ohio, there's no sentimental special feeling for me going to Ohio Stadium to play, even though it's my last time there. Terrell Pryor is a budding talent, and Beanie Wells is an outstanding physical running back. Having said that, I'll open the floor to questions. Well, I think, confidence comes through preparation. Oftentimes, I've said myself, nothing succeeds like success, and what comes first, the more successful you are, the more confident you become. But you have to be confident to be successful, or you have to be successful to be confident. The best way that I'm aware of and know of and that believed in for years and years and years is, and have talked with teams over the years, including this team, is that preparation breeds confidence. It's as though you're going into the classroom to take a test. If you're underprepared, you're not real confident walking into that room. But if you're very well prepared, even though you don't know what is on the test and what lies ahead of you, you're pretty confident. So, in my opinion, confidence is taught through preparedness.
Where is the confidence of your team right now?
Well, we haven't practiced yet, so we're not real prepared yet today, but we will be by the time we get to Columbus. Well, they're very similar. I think Pryor is a little more physical player, and he's he covers a lot of ground in a short period of time because he's a long stride guy, and he's a big 6'6". He's even bigger than Clark was, so I think he's more of a challenge for you physically than Daryl Clark was, although I thought Clark was a very good quarterback. Oh yeah, especially the profanity. I don't mind, opinions, but the profanity I think is way out of line because mostly around the locker room area there are young, very, very young people, usually 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds that all want wristbands, and those players are those kids, young people's heroes, and to hear some of the language at times I think is very offensive, I think you just have to keep going. What they really want you to do, of course, is to respond, and my experience has led me to believe that the best response is no response. The profanity bothers me more than anything else.
Last thing I have, Joe, what would you say to fans that say they have a right to boo since they pay good money for tickets and these kids are on scholarships that are now worth 6 figures?
They're wrong. They are the levers of stinking thinking. They're wrong. They're simply wrong. They don't have to go to the game. They don't have to buy a ticket. I mean, if their life evolves around their ability to rip a young person, then there's something intimately wrong with that person. Well, I think teams, to answer your question, I would say probably. And the reason I say probably is because whenever you begin to defend anyone, I don't care who the team is, whether it's Purdue or someone other's program or style of play, you always attempt to make them one-dimensional, or I've used the term oftentimes, force them to play left-handed. I have a number of left-handed friends, so they always ask me, well, what does that mean? It doesn't really mean anything except I'm right-handed, so it means you have to execute with your opposite hand. But so to answer your question, they probably are saying, well, if we can really absolutely eliminate the running game, they would become one-dimensional, and then we could put another guy on the field. We are seeing a lot more this year, and I'm sure it's because of formations and the way football evolves and changes. We're seeing a lot more nickel, 5 defensive backs, and a lot more dime, a lot more 6 DBs than we have at any time since we've been at Purdue, and that's part of the evolution. Well, we weren't effective over the field, but we were pretty good in the red zone against Penn State. And Royster's a heck of a back, a much improved back. He's doesn't quite have the physical presence that Wells has, but he's very similar. And the same can be said about Clark. He doesn't have the physical presence of Pryor, but he has a little more experience. But both physical guys, both guys that are very good throwers. Last week, Joe Clark made a throw along our sideline. Of course, the receiver did a 360 to catch it before he went out of bounds, and you know, he drug a foot, actually both of them. So it was a great catch, but the other side of the coin is he put the ball where only his guy could catch it. So I was impressed with the way he throws, as I am with the way Pryor throws. I think Pryor, for as young as he is about as advanced as a quarterback as any young quarterback I've ever seen.